Hey guys, my name is the Mike James and welcome to my hardcore let's play, where for the last 1,500 plus days we've been building a Dwarven themed mega city that is inspired by Moria from the Lord of the Rings. So today's episode is going to be a challenge to myself to try and see if we can complete our Dwarven halls. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, maybe consider hitting that subscribe and the like button, as it greatly helps me out and supports the series. However guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Alright guys, let's go ahead and see what we can get done in this week's Let's Play episode, where to begin we have to jump back in time to explain something. As I returned from my last trip, I got straight to work in trying to dig out the area where our city is going to be in order to try and bash out a video so that we could keep the videos coming every single week. However, unfortunately, something happened that I didn't foresee, which I felt incredibly ill. In fact, if you don't believe me, let's roll the clip of me attempting to film the intro. Hey guys, welcome back. Hey guys, welcome back. Ah, sack this. But now that we're all caught up, you'll probably be thinking that I'm going to be working on finishing this project off first. However, I'm actually not going to be finishing off this project to start with, as I thought it would be about time that we actually went ahead and got this hall finished. This has been a project that has been going on for a couple of months now, and I've really been quite lazy about getting it done. So we're going to go ahead and get it done. We're heading up to the top so we can get a better view. One of the things that gets brought up a lot in the live streams is, Mike, what are you going to do with the walls? Well, that's certainly one of the first things we're going to tackle by extending the walls out. Now, the design that I have in mind that I'm going to be doing for these walls is about 3 blocks thick, but I've realized upon reflection that I wanted a bit more of a gap around these pillars. It just feels a little bit too close for comfort. So I want to extend this gap by about 2 blocks, just so we've got a bit more of a wiggle room and a walk room, and it'll just make the room feel a little bit bigger. So in order to accommodate that 2 block gap and fit the design that we have in mind, we have to go ahead and expand each wall by 5 blocks in each direction, which obviously is going to take a little bit of time to do on camera. So where we have breaking news, where It's Me, Mickey T, is using his very stereotypical transition into a time lapse. So let's get to the story. And I completely forgot to repair my pickaxes before starting this, so I head over to the noisy villager trading hall to go ahead and get some of the iron that we've gathered from our iron farm and begin trading it up so that we can use the trades to repair our pickaxe as so, which is the entire reason why we made this trading hall in the first place. Then we can use the emeralds that we've got to go ahead and begin leveling up all the other villagers so that we can unlock even more iron ingot trades. And all the ones that don't will eventually be swapped out, but we have gone ahead and repaired 1 pickaxe, now to do the other. And there we go, unlocking 1 more iron ingot trader. We've now gone ahead and repaired 2 pickaxes from absolute zero, just proving that this is indeed a fantastic idea. However, I did find myself getting a little bit distracted and started procrastinating by trying to get some more villagers into our top layer of the trading hall, and I also went ahead and cured some of the zombies. However, we should resume to our usual programming. As we jump back to the Dwarven corridor we were working on before we got rudely interrupted and sidetracked, to continue mining out the first wall. "51 minutes later and 12,000 stone blocks mined, and we have actually made some progress and we've got 1 side dug out. So we just need to go ahead and repair the pickaxes, as it did almost break both of my netherite pickaxes. So over to the iron farm, where I've come over just to check how many blocks we are on, because I want to actually try something. I want to see if we are in net profit on our iron blocks, as I'm going to have to repair these 2 pickaxes fully, I'd like to see if in the other hour that it's going to take me to dig the other side of the wall, if we can actually generate more iron blocks than what we've used. Just a fun little experiment. So let's jump over and get these pickaxes repaired, where we can take a block of iron and break it down into ingots. And I don't know if this is going to be enough to repair a full single pickaxe, but we'll give it a try. Where it was actually indeed way more than enough. In fact, heading back down here to recraft the block, where we actually only ended up using 43 blocks of iron to actually fully repair that pickaxe, which is actually insane. So we can go ahead and try and repair the other one real quickly, just like so. So it does equal out at around about 1 block of iron per tool repaired from near broken. So that's about the rough math that we're using, and we've just emptied the iron factory chest. So let's go ahead, get to work on the second side and see if we can generate 2 more stacks of iron blocks whilst we dig this area out. Well, just another 50 minutes later, and we've finally got both sides done. And I am definitely 100% happy that I actually extended both sides out, as I think it actually makes the hall look a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And the gap between the wall and the column makes the columns stand out a little bit actually now. They don't blend against the wall as much, but that's going to be helped when I actually get on and do the build. However, going to head back into the iron factory to just see how the experiment is going, and block and a half, it's not bad. It's not profit, I suppose, but if you think we're not going to be consistently mining in here, we are going to be taking breaks and doing builds occasionally, so technically it's pro bono. And so moving on to the resource gathering stage, I am just taking a very quick look at what resources we've actually currently got, and we've actually got a fair amount. But luckily, being a Dwarven kingdom and all, the biggest resource that we'll need is actually stone, which, as many of you will already know, we have certainly almost. We certainly have no shortage of in this world. So we're going to go ahead and gather up a little bit more, as we will need a fair amount in order to construct our next part of our Dwarven kingdom. And with the andesite put away, that should be enough of that material. And I can also announce that we've actually officially now cleared out this column, which we actually started working on a couple of months ago. But I promise, guys, you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled for the next couple of episodes, because I have some insane plans coming to this area, and this whole entire area is going to be transformed in the next couple of videos, so keep your eyes peeled on that. But we continue by grabbing some cobblestone. So we can go ahead and fill this up, and that should be all of that done. And with all of our boxes laid out with all of the stone, we can go ahead and get to building. And I have actually just changed the design on the fly as I was thinking about this. And I have no idea what this is going to look like, as you guys may or may not know if you're new to the channel. I don't plan any of my builds in creative, so let's go ahead and get some walls laid down, as we need to go ahead and build a 10 block high wall. There's one line done, we just have to repeat it 10 more times. And there's 2. And there's the third one done. There's 4 and 5 done. Finishing up number 6. And this should finish up layer 10, making this the perfect start to the wall design, as this is going to serve as a backdrop. Then we're going to layer up stone and stone brick on top of this to create a Dwarven looking wall that's going to fit not only the design of this entire hallway, but also fit in with this design that we've done over here. And so with a restock of materials, we're going to get back to work on building this wall's foundations. And that should be another layer finished. So if we head down to take a look, I've actually tried to use a little bit less cobblestone in the second layer. So jumping into a time lapse, we got back onto building the base of the wall. Now, one thing I did want to note is that we actually did end up having to change the design again on the fly, as I was continuing to build it up by 10 blocks and bringing it in a block, but I realized very quickly that we were running out of andesite. So I decided, instead of just making the whole thing andesite, decide that we were going to do a cobble to andesite mix, then we were going to go andesite, then we were going to start blending andesite into normal stone the higher that we got up. So that's exactly what we did. Well, if we just go and take a quick landing, we can take a look at what we've got done so far, and to be honest, this looks absolutely way better than I actually anticipated. As we jump back to gathering andesite and diorite so we can craft andesite, it is reminding me the importance of why we should maybe look at getting a huge storage room built within the next couple of episodes with an automatic sorting system, because to tell you the truth, I've actually mined around about 35,000 andesite in this world so far. However, I've not really had the opportunity to store much of it, meaning that we're actually starved for the materials which we should be in abundance of. So maybe there is a huge dwarven storage room coming in the next couple of episodes. If that's something you'd want to see, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and don't forget to like the video, and we'll maybe make that our next super project in our Dwarven kingdom. It has become apparent that so far this project has taken me 10 minutes to try and complete this haul, and it's something that I anticipated would maybe only take me 5 minutes of the video. So we're gonna go ahead and just blast through placing down the floor, which, if you're new to the channel, is basically just our blend of cobbled and normal deep slate, which makes it look pretty ornate but also pretty simple for the Dwarven Kingdom halls. As I just needed something that was just a little bit more simple and using a resource which I knew that we would have an abundance of, it just seemed that perfect blend of just looking fancy but easy to make and easy to acquire. But as we finish up, the floor is looking okay, but we can move on to the next quick segment, as we quickly need to go ahead and fill this little thing that we dug out to just continue on this stone brick design. Moving on to the second one. And that's that done. And it's looking good. I will say that I do think I probably should texture another type of stone brick in here, because I don't want to overuse stone brick, because it does begin to look a little bit fake and a little bit flat. So we may change this up in the future, maybe do some sort of like bordering around the edge or something, maybe like put some dwarven runes engraved into it. But that's a problem for another day as we go ahead and restock our inventory on stone brick. So we quickly look at crafting up some deep slate stuff such as bricks and walls. So in order to actually go ahead and start building up the wall and finishing it off, what I'm going to go ahead and do is build a 3-block wide pillar and bring it out by 2, like so. Bring it up by 5 blocks. Then we're going to go ahead and use some deep slate brick to create 1 layer. Then we're going to put down another 4 layers. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 2 more dark deep slate bricks, and then put down a normal stone brick set underneath. Then copying the first pillar, we're going to go ahead and build up the second. Then we're going to try and create some less harsh angles on top of the blocks by using stairs to try and blend it in a little bit better. And digging out holes and placing down some fence with some walls, that'll become apparent in a second. Stepping away, I'm going to very quickly grab my emerald, as I totally forgot to grab some lanterns, so we'll quickly grab some from our villagers. So we can go ahead and head back and place these down underneath the walls that we placed down earlier, which will help just light the place up. Now, I do think that when we repeat this design all the way along, there might be too many lanterns, so we'll have to see what this looks like. We may have to alter the design a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and jump up to the top here. So what you actually want to go ahead and do is, in line with where the fence is, you want to put a upside down stair facing outwards on both sides, and this can be any block you want. I'm just using stone, chiseled stone brick, to just add a little bit extra detail. And then all you're going to want to do from here is actually just rinse and repeat the design, so this first set of solid blocks should be in line with that indentation, and this is what it should look like. And all we have to do is basically just rinse and repeat this design all the way up, and with us just getting rid of all the excess bricks that we've placed, and assuming that I haven't made any mistakes, which does tend to happen, it's not looking too bad overall. So we get to work in extending this pattern all the way along the first wall. And it is looking insane. Over 3 hours later, we've finally finished building up the wall on either side. I just need to go ahead and finish off putting the stairs upside down on each of these layers, as I kind of got a bit lazy and stopped doing it. But admittedly, I was kind of thinking maybe I should remove the stairs because I kind of liked it without the stairs in, but I actually prefer the kind of rounded approach inside each one, as it does match this up here, and it just seems a little bit more fitting, and it just looks a little bit more fancy. So we'll go ahead and get these finished, and then we can head on to the second and last part of the video of finishing up the villager trading hall. Oh, and it is looking insane. Over 3 hours later, we've finally finished building up the wall on either side. I just need to go ahead and finish off putting the stairs upside down on each of these layers, as I kind of got a bit lazy and stopped doing it. But admittedly, I was kind of thinking maybe I should remove the stairs because I kind of liked it without the stairs in, but I actually prefer the kind of rounded approach inside each one, as it does match this up here, and it just seems a little bit more fitting, and it just looks a little bit more fancy. So we'll go ahead and get these finished, and then we can head on to the second and last part of the video of finishing up the villager trading hall. So we'll go ahead and jump into getting that done. But we go ahead and start on the second one. Then we finish on the very top layer. And that should be that done. Let's just stick the land in. There we go. Oh, for God's sake, I missed out a layer. Well, Mike, that's what you get for being way too confident and not double checking before you publicly go on record to say that you are finished. Anyway, moving on. Now we should finally be complete, and that is looking absolutely magnificent. I will admit, I do have some reservations. I probably could have done this a little bit differently had I been a bit more attentive to planning. However, we are going to go ahead and get to work on the pillars now, as I really want to get these finished off. And okay, this is looking absolutely insane. I am actually in love with this hall now. I had no idea what I wanted this hall to look like when I started this project, but it is almost finished and it is looking insane. There's just a few more things that I should let you guys know that need touching up. Starting with placing down cobblestone walls in every corner of the pillars, because I got shouted at for missing these out before. And that's that bit done. Now, I didn't want to, but I am going to go ahead and place some torches down on each corner to prevent mob spawns. And yes, I know many of you in the past have told me to use glow lichen to light things up like this, and I am going to get into it, I promise. It just hasn't been a priority up until recently. But for now, this should do, and that's looking much better and should temporarily prevent any mobs from spawning. And as for this doorway behind me, we're going to go ahead and leave that for now, simply because I actually have a plan to completely overhaul this in the next coming episode, as we head back into our villager trading hall, where we jump straight into trying to get all of the bridges built that would connect the column to the outer platforms. So just to quickly go over the lore of the reason why I built it this way is I wanted to carry on this kind of pattern that we were using for the floor so that it would seem really seamless going into the center column and tie all of the build together. I also went ahead and used some spruce trapdoors. Pretty cliche, but it just helped give a little border and add a little bit of color into the room, as well as using some andesite underneath. As I've explained previously, I'd like the dwarves to feel like there's parts of every single build that were carved naturally out of stone, then they've kind of just reinforced the natural forming stone underneath. And I'm also realizing that I've missed a platform. You know, we were just saying like earlier on in the video about like double checking everything before going public with this stuff. Yeah, didn't listen to my own advice there, did I? However, placing this down should finish off that build. And so we have finished, and I will say the only issue that I am having is this natural kind of stone look for the naturally carved out bridges. I'm having trouble tying it into the rest of the world, and I think what I actually need to do is bring the andesite all the way down here and make it look as if it's like carved out, and then obviously all of this can be placed or carved out of separate stone, if you see what I mean. As we need to be moving on, I'm going to go ahead and dig out this whole border around the edge, as we need to design something that's going to look fitting. Realizing it probably just way easier to just dig out the 2 blocks and then place everything back down, rather than painstakingly going along trying to break the middle block one by one. As I go ahead and start placing down cobblestone walls, my idea here was to create a seamless transition between the 2 different layers, but keeping it in theme with what we had already built. I wanted to do something that was a little bit sunken in to kind of add a little bit of shadow and a little bit of depth to the actual layer. Where I've just temporarily stopped from the time-lapse to kind of take a look at where we've got up to, and honestly, it doesn't quite have the effect that I was hoping it would. I was really hoping it would kind of have this like subtle shadowed effect, but I imagine if I had just used flat cobblestone brick, it probably would have had the exact same effect. By using some slabs that we had on hand, I can kind of showcase what I mean, but if you take a look at this, at a distance, it basically looks the same. It maybe has a very subtle darker shade, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So it kind of actually does work. Maybe I was completely wrong on that. And so with one final pit stop to grab just a handful more cobblestone to finish off this project, we head back into the hall, craft as many walls as we possibly humanly can. And that pretty much sums it all up, guys. We've finished filling in each of the gaps. We have skipped the very bottom layer just because obviously there's nothing to fill in, but everything else has been filled in with cobblestone walls, making this room just look that little bit more complete. And unfortunately, I've kind of run out of time. Yeah, these episodes normally go live at 6 PM on a Sunday, and I told you guys it was going to be 2 days late, and it's 8 minutes to 6 on a Tuesday, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get this all wrapped up for your faces. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name has been Mike James, also known as me, Mickey T. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, as it really helps me out, guys. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.